Hello everybody, welcome to the Stanley Parable 2. I'm your host today, Caution Guy. It is in the morning for me and I am energized. I fixed FPS, as you can maybe see. Hopefully it actually stays working. Otherwise, yeah, let's get into the video, shall we? I'm not sure if I should get rid of turn this off.
This is the story.
So as you can see, welcome back. And guess what?
All of his
We got the stupid
What could it mean?
Happy 12th
Stanley
birthday.
decided to go to the meeting.
Come on.
I wanted the other one.
Alright.
Bucket.
Stanley lifted the bucket into his arms.
I'm
and
the
a wave of
happiest I've ever
comfort
been in my life
rushed
now.
over him.
Nothing. Not even any birthday can compare.
Stanley clasped the bucket tightly to his
Okay, I
chest
kind of
and
did
entered.
open
This
the
was
game.
not the correct way to the meeting
To
room.
test the video, so I
Stanley
knew.
had felt the bucket
Whatever.
calling to him,
Anyway.
telling him
So
that
let me
the
turn my mic.
employee lounge was simply the place to be.
Bet.
Here it was. Had the bucket turned out to be correct? Was
It's
this better than
beautiful.
the meeting room? Yes, Stanley
Bucket
thought
with
to
the-
himself. Yes, perhaps it truly was. How insightful the bucket turned out to be.
Yeah, I know, right? Like, Bucket knows everything. Bucket. I think Bucket's God, chat. Bucket, admire this painting with me. Admire this
Truly,
painting.
being here with the bucket was a
Like,
grand adventure.
It's nice to not
Stanley
be alone.
reflected on all they'd been through together. First, walking through the door on the right, then walking to the lounge, then arrived. No, never mind.
Yeah, shut the
bucket
fuck
was
up.
Stanley took the door on his left
Yeah,
to go back to the meeting room.
I need to stop
And so
it.
the
Wait,
two of them detoured through the maintenance
Bucket
section
has to
and
meet
walked
the
straight
line.
ahead to the opposite door.
okay, so Bucket, you're gonna have to meet some of my friends. So you're gonna meet
Line.
we're gonna get lost and all of that. It's gonna be
Good
so
Stanley, I'm
fun,
glad
bro.
you found
It's gonna
your
be
way.
so.
I knew you'd find this place eventually. You see, your friends and I are concerned for you, Stanley. We've come together here because we care about you very much. It's this bucket you're carrying around everywhere. The bucket isn't even from the original Stanley Parable. It's just sequel content. We're the ones that matter, Stanley. Classic characters from the first game, like the Adventure Line and the Broom Closet.
Ooh.
Because that's what fans want from a
Isn't this-
sequel. They want more of their favorite jokes,
Aw.
not this bucket that they've never seen before. Yes, I know I'm the one who gave you the bucket, but you're spending too much time with it.
So I don't
Don't
really
you
know
want another story
you,
involving the Adventure
you,
Line?
and
We could make the Adventure Line go somewhere new. Yes, yes, that's what the fans want. Let's do it.
oh, that's new.
Whee! Look at that wacky line. Who knows
Yeah.
where it'll go off to next?
Let's go.
Yeah, we got the music back. That's all I ever cared about in my life.
Now this is what the Stanley Parable is all about.
Ah, yes,
Don't you
yes,
remember
agreed.
all those great jokes from the original
Ah.
dialogue? Also, Stanley is addicted to drugs and hookers.
What the?
It's as classic now as it was back then. Let's do it for the fans.
How did you
Stanley.
know?
Let's give them more content exactly like this. But if we want to do that, you're going to have
Nice,
to
it's
give something
raining.
up.
Wait, my dog's good? Nah. They'll be fine.
Don't you get it, Stanley? We need.
What is that?
That's why I'm very proud to introduce a brand new character. This
Insert
is the
bucket too.
Bucket
To destroy? No!
I think it'll make a new addition to the rich lore.
No!
True, it also was
No!
an original game, but it's such
No!
a character with so much personality.
I can never get rid of the bucket.
It's been
9! 9! Let me out! Let me out!
Can you guess what the bucket destroyer does? Surely you don't need me to spell it out for you. Go ahead now, Stanley.
No!
Say goodbye.
No!
Pop it into the machine when you're ready.
No! I refuse! This is a war crime! This is a crime against humanity and buckets!
Listen to me. It's crucial that you give it the bucket.
No!
What the bucket destroyer will do.
Never!
Your bucket. Destroying buckets is all it
Bro really thinks I'll give him the bucket?
personality trait. Sure, I can hear you saying, how does a character with only one personality trait deserve to join the pantheon of beloved Stanley Parable characters?
No!
You see, if you were to really explore the Bucket Destroyer,
The bucket has more personality than nothing will ever!
complexity and nuance that it's
Shut up!
10 personality traits. What other object in this game
Never!
say that about? The broom?
No!
Not. I wonder what
No!
merchandise the fans will be clamoring for after this. Okay, the Bucket Destroyer is getting very upset now. You'll have to hurry and feed it. We can't
Never!
Stanley Parable characters like the Adventure Line or the Bucket Destroyer until you crush that damn bucket.
Never!
The fans are waiting. Do it, the fans, Stanley. Give the fans what they want. Hurry and...
Oh!
Alright, so.
The Bucket Destroyer, my prized creation. You had so much potential.
Bro.
We were going to do such marvelous things with you, tell such
Sorry.
spellbinding stories about you. All of it squandered now. Goodbye.
I just
new
can't give a
friend.
bucket.
For the moment in time that you were here, you were magnificent.
Even though I hated them. That was a beautiful character arc. Anyway, back to the video.
All of his co-workers were gone.
Oh.
Stanley decided to go to the meeting room.
All right.
Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Bucket.
The confusion and the chaos all seemed to melt
Yep.
away as Stanley embraced the bucket.
Very true. I want to see if I actually do give up the
Stanley
bucket.
clutched the
What
bucket
happens?
tightly to his chin. This was not the correct way to the meeting room, but Stanley had
Womp
felt the
womp.
bucket calling to him,
Yep.
telling him that the
What do you-
employee lounge was simply the place to be. And here it was. Had
Shut
the bucket
up.
turned out to be correct? No, never mind. The bucket was wrong. Stanley took the door on
Let's
his left
see what
to go
happens
back,
if
and so
I
the
give
two
up
of them
bucket.
detoured through the maintenance section and walked straight ahead to the opposite door.
No, I'll just cut there. Oh! Did it pause?
Oh,
Okay,
goodness,
come
Stanley,
on.
I'm glad you found your way here. I knew
Need-
you'd find
Wait,
this
no.
place
Ugh.
eventually.
What button was it? Is it 5? Let me look at OBS settings real quick.
Oh.
Oh, there we go. Wait, what? What? Oh. Oh, wait. Huh. Wait, sorry. I'm looking I think keybind hotkeys is set up for like OBS. Try and pause this. I can just get there. I know I'd probably be there by now. Control. Oh. Control F, Control 5. Oh, my bad.
I think it'll make a wonderful new addition to the rich lore of the Stanley Parable. True, it also was not in the original
Yeah, we're
game, but
back.
such a
We're back.
well-fleshed-out character with so much personality that to me it already feels as though it's been part of the cast
I'm
all
chewing
along.
gum,
Don't you
so-
agree? Can you guess what
I
the
gotta
Bucket
stop.
Destroyer does?
It
Surely
destroys
you don't need me to
buckets.
spell it out for you. Go ahead now, Stanley. Say
That-
goodbye to the bucket, and then pop it into the machine when you're ready.
I can't.
Now listen to me. It's crucial that you give it the bucket. I don't
I-
know what the Bucket Destroyer will do if it can't destroy your bucket. Destroying buckets is
It won't
all
work.
knows. That is its singular personality trait. Sure, I can hear you saying, how does a character with only one personality trait deserve
Alright,
to
can
join
destroy
the
the
pantheon
bucket.
of beloved Stanley Parable characters?
My bad.
When
Hang on. Can I make this better? No.
you see, if you
um,
were to really
yeah, you can
explore
destroy
the
a bucket.
Destroyer, you would
We'll
see
be
that
back.
its desire to crush buckets is so densely loaded with complexity
Okay,
and
come on.
nuance that it's really like
Oh, wait.
In memory of Bucket Destroyer.
creation. You have
Alright, so, as you saw, as I paused it a couple times, basically, you cannot destroy the bucket, no matter
All of his
what.
co-workers were
I kind of
gone.
wish you
What
could.
could it mean?
I kind of waste
Stanley
your time.
decided to go to the
Whatever.
meeting. Perhaps he had
Does
simply
not-
missed a memo.
does not
Warmth
matter.
Spread through
Let's go,
Stanley's
bucket.
arms. With the bucket in his arms again, he was
You know what?
home.
Try to see what happens if
Stanley
you complete the
clutched the
game.
bucket tightly to his chest and entered the door on his left. Still no one was here. Stanley needed the bucket's warmth and comfort now more than ever. Perhaps his boss's office was where he'd found
What?
answers. Coming to a staircase, Stanley and the bucket walked upstairs to the boss's
Calm
office.
down.
But Stanley just couldn't do it. He considered the possibility of facing his boss, admitting he had left
That
his
is true.
post during work hours. He might be fired for that. And in such a competitive economy, why had he taken that risk? All because he
Wait.
believed everyone
Huh.
had vanished. His boss would think he was crazy.
Wait.
And then something occurred to
Wait.
Stanley. Maybe, he thought to himself, maybe I am crazy. He looked down at the bucket in his arms. Am I crazy? He asked the bucket. The bucket returned his gaze, but said nothing at all. That's strange, Stanley thought. Usually the bucket is a source of guidance and wisdom for me in difficult times such as these.
Oh, this is weird.
He held the bucket close, yet felt none of its familiar reassurance and comfort. And that's
Wait.
when Stanley realized,
What?
this isn't my bucket. It's just a normal, everyday bucket.
What?
Someone else's
What?
bucket. How did I end up with someone else's bucket? This is all terribly wrong. Surely no good would come from this. Who knows what sorts of bizarre hallucinations Stanley might experience without the
No.
psychologically grounding
No.
force of his bucket.
No!
Now he noticed the rooms were repeating, which was, of course, very odd. And now he felt himself floating off the ground. Oh, gracious, he exclaimed. Without my bucket, I've gone truly mad. Where is it? I must find it. Far off in the distance now, he heard it, calling to him. Stanley! Stanley, it's me, the bucket. Could it truly be? He rushed forward from room to room, passing by one bucket after the next. None of them were his. None of them were his special bucket. Come to me, Stanley. Find me. He had to find the bucket. He had to return to his old friend. It was the only way to truly restore his sanity.
Where's my
Suddenly,
bucket?
he froze dead in his tracks. He knew where the voice of the bucket had been coming from. The real bucket was inside of him all along.
What?
It was incredibly painful. Stanley doubled over in agony and blacked out.
Alright.
This is the story of a woman named Mariella. Mariella woke up on a day like any other. She arose, got dressed, picked up her bucket of comfort and security, and walked to her place of work. But on this particular day, her walk was interrupted by the body of a man who had stumbled through town, talking and screaming to himself, and then collapsed dead on the sidewalk. Right away, she knew
Wow,
what
me
the problem
personally.
was. This man had no bucket. Of course he'd gone mad, ranting and raving about a narrator describing all of his actions
Me
and how everything is
personally.
predetermined and free will is an illusion and it's all just a video game. It could all have been prevented if
Wow.
only he'd taken his bucket.
Me
with him.
personally.
Perhaps he didn't even realize he'd forgotten his bucket at home in the first place. How cruel the world can be, Mariella thought, and she hugged her own bucket even tighter. But of course, she had no time for this. There were a myriad of confusing problems she would soon have to confront at work, for which her bucket would provide absolute guidance and total clarity
come on.
everything. Heck yes, she thought to herself. My life kicks ass.
W.
All the way to work.
Bro, what? Okay, come on.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room.
Bucket?
Perhaps he had simply missed a
Should
memo.
we bring the bucket? Wait. No. Let me see what the ending, like what we just did, but without bucket. I'll cut right back over there. Come on.
But Stanley
Welcome
just
back.
couldn't do it. He
We were
considered
here
the
without
possibility
bucket.
of facing his boss. Admitting he had left his post during work hours, he might be fired for that. And in such a competitive economy, why had he taken that risk? All because
Okay,
he believed
bucket.
everyone had vanished.
Ow.
His boss would think he was crazy.
Ow.
And then something occurred to Stanley.
Ow,
Maybe,
bro.
he thought to himself,
What would?
maybe I am crazy.
Ow.
All of my co-workers blinking mysteriously out of existence in a
Like,
single
bro,
moment
why was that
for
so
no
mean? Like,
reason
bro,
at
like,
all. None of it made any logical sense. And as Stanley pondered this, he began to make
Me
other
personally.
strange observations. For example,
Alright.
why couldn't he see his feet when he looked down? Why did doors close automatically behind him wherever he went? And for that matter, these rooms were starting to look pretty familiar. Were they simply repeating? No, Stanley said to himself. This is all too strange. This can't be real. And at last, he came to the conclusion that had been on the tip of his tongue. He just hadn't found the words for it. I'm dreaming, he yelled. This is all a
Yeah.
dream.
I'm dreaming. I can sing, but I can't right now because
His
I
co-workers
am
weren't actually gone.
still
He wasn't going to lose his
tired.
job. He wasn't crazy after all.
Yeah.
And he
Yeah.
thought to himself, I suppose
Not
I'll wake
crazy,
up
little
soon.
bro.
I'll have to go back to my boring real-life job pushing buttons. I may as well enjoy this while I'm still lucid. So, he imagined himself flying and began to gently float above the ground. Then he imagined himself soaring
There's
through
a
space on
star,
a magical
mine
starfield,
waiting
and
in
it
the
too
sky.
appeared. It was
They
so
like to
much
come
fun,
and visit
and Stanley
me,
marveled
Freddy,
that he had still
belong
not
mine.
woken up.
There's a star.
How was he remaining so lucid? And then perhaps the strangest question of them all entered Stanley's head. One he was amazed he hadn't asked himself sooner. Why is there a voice in my head dictating everything
Yeah.
I'm doing and thinking? Now the voice was describing itself being considered by Stanley, who found it particularly strange. I'm dreaming about a voice describing me, thinking about how it's describing my thoughts, he thought. And while he thought it all very odd, and
Yeah.
wondered if this voice spoke to all people in their dreams, the truth was that, of course, this was not a dream. How could it be? Was Stanley simply deceiving himself, believing that if he's asleep, he doesn't have to take responsibility for himself? Stanley is as awake right now as he's ever been in his life.
Me personally, I
Now,
could
hearing
never
the
be
voice
awake.
speak these words was quite a shock to Stanley. After all, he knew for certain, beyond a doubt, that this was in fact a dream. Did the voice not see him float and make the magical stars just a moment ago? How else would the voice explain all that? This voice was a part of himself too. Surely, if he could just... He would prove it. He would prove that he was in control, that this was a dream. So he closed his eyes gently, and he invited himself to wake
Don't
up.
wake up.
He felt the cool weight of the blanket on his skin, the press of the mattress on his back, the fresh air of a world outside this one. Let me wake up, he thought to himself. I'm through with this dream. I wish it to be over. Let me go back to my job.
Yeah, that sounds nice.
Let me continue pushing the
That
buttons.
sounds
Please.
nice.
It's all I want. I want my apartment and my wife
You have a
and
wife?
my job. All I
Stanley,
want
you
is
have
my
a
life
wife?
exactly the way
Since
it
when
was
did you have a
meant.
wife? That is
My life is normal.
illegal!
I am normal. Everything will be fine.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah.
I am okay.
Yeah, right. Yeah, totally. Bro's still at work. Bro didn't wake up.
Stanley began screaming. Wake me up! My name is Stanley. I have a boss. I have an office. I am real. Please, just someone tell me I am real. I must be real. I must be. Can anyone hear my voice? Who am I? Who am I? Black. This is the story of a woman named Mariella.
Forgot about that. Mariella.
Mariella woke up on a day like any other. She arose, got dressed,
Nice. So
gathered
it's
her
fairly
belongings,
different than
and
normal.
walked to her place of work.
Well, then
But on this
bucket.
particular day,
version.
her walk was interrupted by the body of a man who had stumbled through town talking and screaming to
Dang.
himself, and then collapsed dead on the sidewalk. And although she would soon turn to go call for an ambulance, for just a few brief moments she considered the strange man. He was obviously crazy, this much she knew. Everyone knows what crazy people look like.
Dang,
and in
me
that
personally.
moment, she thought to herself how lucky she was to be normal. I am sane. I am in control of my mind. I know what is
Narcissistic
real
much?
and what isn't. It was comforting to think this, and in a certain way, seeing this man made her feel better. But then she remembered the meeting she had scheduled for that day. The very important people whose impressions of her would affect her career, and by extension, the rest of her life.
Bruh.
She had no time for this, so it was only a moment that she stood there, staring down at the body.
Let's.
And then she turned and ran.
Bruh. That's just me. Well. Wait. That's the nail.
Stanley picked up the bucket and smiled. He'd never be alone again. Stanley clutched the bucket tightly to his chest and entered the door on his
That's
left.
different.
This was not the correct way to the meeting room, but Stanley had felt the bucket calling to him, telling him that the employee lounge was simply the place to be.
Wait, what?
And here it was. Had the bucket turned out to be correct? Well, no, never mind.
Something feels
Bucket was wrong.
off.
Stanley took the door on his left to go back to the meeting room.
No.
No, said the bucket.
No.
Don't go to the meeting room.
Don't go to the
somewhere
meeting room.
else.
Go somewhere-
The cargo lift, yes. Go good, said the bucket. Now ride the lift all the way to the top. There's something up there I need you to do. Stanley did not question why or how this bucket
Yeah,
was
don't
speaking
question
to
it.
him. It should have
Because he's real.
of course,
He's
because
real.
buckets
Like,
don't talk.
why are we
But
considering
Stanley chose
that?
not to think about this
Oh, that
obvious
we-
fact. He was firmly convinced that the bucket had spoken
No.
to him, and he unthinkingly did whatever the bucket asked.
No.
No, stop. Look there on the wall. You see, there's a sign there. It says, no buckets past this point. Stanley, how could you think it was okay to leave a
I'm
bucket
sorry.
here? Unless,
I didn't
what
know.
if the problem is that you actually don't know what is a bucket and what isn't a bucket? I suppose that would explain a lot about your behavior up to this point. Which,
Yeah.
if that's true, well, my goodness. I think we
What's
have
a
to do something
bucket?
about it. This misunderstanding could have dire consequences on the entire rest of the game if not addressed quickly and properly. So much of
Right.
the impact of the story is dependent on your understanding.
Wait, I wish the bucket was shinier. Yeah. Oh, Max.
Of what is
Yeah.
and isn't
Like, what is a
bucket.
bucket?
Please, step in here for a moment.
I'll grab. What is a bucket? Like, what defines a bucket? Like,
Now
it's not
then,
a bucket.
I'm going to run you through some test scenarios, and you'll tell me whether or not the thing I'm showing you is a bucket. Simple enough, right? This should tell us everything we'll ever need
Yeah.
to know about what is or is not a bucket.
Thank you.
Okay, let's begin. Item 1. Is this a bucket?
No, it can't be. It can't be.
Correct. It is a hologram
told
of
you.
a bucket,
I told you.
not an actual bucket.
Like, it's too perfect.
Item 2. Is this a bucket?
I don't know. Let's go, yeah.
It is a 3D printed recreation of a bucket,
Dang
not an
it.
actual bucket. Item 3. Is this a bucket?
I'm gonna go, no. Yeah, nah. That can't be.
Incorrect. This is a bucket.
Damn it!
Oh! Yeah.
Item 4.
That's a
Is this
bucket.
bucket?
Yeah. Totally. I've never seen more of a book in my life.
Correct. This is a tractor and not a bucket. To be honest, I just sort of put this one in here as a
Wait.
gimme, but I was starting to get concerned
No, I'm
that
stupid.
even this might be too much for you. Thank you for not making me look.
No, I clicked the wrong one. I may click yeah. Nah. That's a
Is
bucket.
this a bucket?
Yeah, that's a bucket.
Correct. This is a bucket.
Yeah, like so obvious. Like
Item 6.
no.
Is
No,
this a bucket?
never seen something more obvious than not being a bucket in my life.
Trick question. Both.
What?
Gotcha.
How can it be both?
Item. Wait, hold on. I can't find the next one. Let me see. Should be around here somewhere.
Yeah, it's a bucket.
Okay, you and I both know there isn't anything here. And I don't appreciate the implication that nothing is a bucket when we both clearly know that a bucket is something, and therefore nothing could possibly be something. Unless, in your twisted mind, have you somehow convinced yourself that a bucket is nothing?
Yep.
Answer me straight, Stanley. Do you believe that nothing is a bucket?
This is gonna be funny, but this is. Yeah. Nothing's a bucket.
You know what? I'm too confused to even sort it out. I've lost
Yeah.
all sense of perspective. What is a bucket? What isn't a bucket? Mere moments ago I could answer these questions with confidence. And yet now I'm somewhat adrift.
Yeah.
Do any of us know what a bucket is?
Nah.
Am I a bucket? Stanley, I can't keep doing this. I'm losing myself, and myself was all I ever
Nah.
had to begin
Nah.
with. I'm afraid the bucket is threatening to tear our relationship apart. I can't have that. I'm sorry. But I'm going to erase all buckets from...
No!
Okay.
No! No! You better not! You better not!
What happened? Is everything gone?
Oh, thank God.
Why did everything disappear? Wait, was everything a bucket?
Wait, what?
Every single thing in the game was a bucket.
What?
Oh my God, I had no idea. How could
Told you.
Except me. I'm not a
Told you
bucket after all. And you, Stanley, you're still here.
Nothing
You're not
and
a bucket
everything is a
either.
bucket.
Oh, this is wonderful
But,
news. We're not buckets. Yes, I actually feel much more at ease right now. It's delightful to get some clarity on that issue, but it doesn't change the fact that we haven't got a game. So, tell
yeah.
you what, I'll reset everything and we'll put back all of the buckets, okay? And we'll know that it's all a bucket.
Yeah.
But if you run into anyone else, maybe don't mention that. Who knows what that information might do to a person? All right, here we go.
No, it's true. See? Weird.
Already this was uncomfortable,
That's
and
new.
Stanley decided that as soon as he found a new space he felt safe in, that he would never leave it again in his life.
Never leaving this. Alright.
The good old bucket.
Yeah.
Just Stanley and the bucket. Off on another thrilling adventure together.
Like, yeah.
Stanley clutched the bucket tightly to his chest. This was not the correct
Correct
way
way
to
to
the
the
meeting
meeting
room.
room.
But Stanley had felt the bucket calling to him,
Yeah.
telling him that the employee lounge was simply the place to be. And here it was. Had the bucket turned out to be correct? Well, no, never mind. The bucket was wrong. Stanley took the door on his left to go back to the meeting room.
No.
And so the
Let's
two
actually
of them
complete the game with the
detoured through
bucket.
the maintenance section
See
and
what
walked straight
changes.
ahead to the opposite door. Still no one was here. Stanley needed the bucket's warmth and comfort now more than ever.
Broom
Perhaps his
closet.
boss's office was where he... Oh, Stanley, can you feel it? The broom closet. It wants the bucket. You can feel that, can't you? The aura of jealousy. It's as clear as day. This broom closet believes it deserves the bucket. I can really feel it now. It's a bucket. It belongs in a broom closet. That's what the broom closet is trying to say here. It's supposed to go with the other cleaning supplies. Good for
No.
you, Stanley. Don't give in. Don't hand over the bucket. I know how hard it must be, given the pressure that the broom closet is putting on your shoulders right now, but you have to be strong. This is your bucket. This is
My
your
bucket!
companion,
Mine!
long friend. Can't let it go. Oh no. We're getting into name calling now, it seems. Is this how low the broom closet has sunk that it has
You-
to resort to this
you-
stream of
Your
petty
room!
simply in order to get you to hand
You're
it over?
empty!
Stanley, I never liked this broom closet for a variety of reasons, but even this is worse than I had imagined. And wait, now the broom closet has the gall to imply that you and the bucket are not truly deep and lasting. The relationship is pure.
How dare you!
Life is so banal and meaningless that you'd feel the same sort of kinship towards
How
any
dare
inanimate
you.
object which happened to lay in your path in an even partially enticing manner. Well, I never.
Why,
Go on,
never.
Stanley. Lay into it. Really tell the broom closet off for its demeaning comments. Expand
You-
on the wide variety.
You shouldn't this fucking minute!
Go through each of them
Yeah.
point by point. Share your journal entries
You-
detailing the rich emotional landscape of
You
your
stupid fucking cleaning janitor! You're worthless! You gotta move!
Okay, I've got you
Yeah.
something which I think will help settle the debate once and for all. Here we go.
Yeah.
There. Now it's settled. No more debate, no more discussion.
Yeah.
Take a hike, broom closet,
Yeah.
with all your meandering philosophical diatribes about the nature of cleaning supplies and their relationship to broom closets in the natural order of things.
Yeah. We're not done.
All right, I've got a second sticker back here, and I'm going to slap it on as well because I think it's appropriate. You see?
Yeah.
I feel that it works because the sticker is also a bucket.
Agreed.
That way, if you're ever unsure whether the thing you're holding is a bucket or not, you can look down at this sticker and say to yourself, it's a bucket.
Yeah.
There really is a wide variety of applications for this sticker.
Yeah. Isn't everything a bucket? No.
You know what? I could take the name calling and the dismissal of your kinship with the bucket, but
Yeah.
now the broom closet is just giving us a silent
How
treatment.
dare
And to
you.
be honest, I'm sick of the pettiness on display.
Yeah.
You can stay here all you like, but I've had it with this impetulant room of cleaning supplies. Easily the most childish such room I've ever been in. I'll see you outside, and we
Okay.
can get on with the story about you and your bucket.
Okay. I'm also giving the silent treatment, so.
I hate you. Fuck you. Fick dich.
Yeah, no, there's no more.
Coming to a staircase, Stanley and the bucket
How
walked
dare
upstairs
you.
to the boss's office.
Yeah, put him in his voice.
You found one of them. One of the miniature Stanley figurines. Remember, no reward for collecting all of these.
I
Only
don't
the
care.
intrinsic pleasure of a job well done. You can't buy that sort of happiness, Stanley. God knows I've tried. So, I implore you to savor each and every moment you come across one of these beautiful figurines.
Will do. Alright. Ooh. No, it's the elevator! Bucket must enjoy elevator. Okay. Enough of that.
Stepping into his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life. Crushed by the weight of this revelation, Stanley may have broken
Yeah.
down into an emotional dumpster fire if not for the soothing presence of the bucket.
Yeah.
Even now, in his darkest of hours, did the bucket's warmth and guiding light pierce the dark clouds of confusion and chaos. It would be with him, always. The bucket would. And he knew it. The two of them were inseparable. At this point, Stanley was so absorbed in the tender spiritual connection he shared with the bucket that he didn't notice the keypad behind the boss's desk. Nor in his bliss of simply being near the bucket did he have any notion that the PIN number for the keypad was 2845.
Right.
But Stanley guessed the correct code by sheer luck. Was it that the bucket knew all along? Was the bucket guiding him? Yes.
Yeah.
This is certainly the most logical
I'm
explanation.
gonna finish this thing, and I want to see if the ending's.
Another miniature Stanley figurine. This, you know, there really must be a snappier name for these things. What about mini-stands? Stanley figs? What about Stanlerines?
Ooh, I like that one.
I think I like that.
Stanlerines.
Another Stanlerine under your belt.
Portland.
Raced downward, plummeting towards an unknown fate. It would be all Stanley could do to keep himself together, if not for the bucket.
Yeah.
Soothing him, comforting him, reassuring that in this darkest moment of uncertainty, he would be all right. The bucket
I
is
love
here for you,
Bucket.
Stanley.
Thank you.
Everything will be fine.
Thank you, narrator and Bucket. Like, you two are my closest friends, not gonna lie.
Stanley and the bucket walked
Sure
straight
do.
ahead through the large door that read, Mind Control Facility.
That.
The lights rose on an enormous room packed with television screens.
Nice.
What horrible secret did this place hold? Stanley and the bucket both wondered to themselves.
Blup. Bucket, what do you
Monitors
think of my
jumped to
gaming
life,
setup?
And Stanley nearly dropped the bucket in shock. Everyone in the office was being videotaped, monitored like guinea pigs. The bucket had never seen anything like this, and it very nearly burst into tears as Stanley cradled it gently, reassuring it that everything would be fine.
3 videos in one day. So I'm seeing it in real life. Cause yeah, make 3 videos.
Was
today.
the bucket under the
Because I
mind
have nothing
control
better to do.
facility's influence as well? Had the
Oh,
bucket
God.
been told to do things it didn't wish to do? What kinds of things does a bucket want to do or not want to do in the first place? These questions raced furiously in Stanley's feeble mind.
What you gonna do?
No! He screamed into the bucket. He couldn't accept it.
How
His
dare
own life in someone else's control. Never! He squeezed the bucket tighter. His one friend in the entire world. At this point, he could trust
That's not
no
creepy.
one except for the bucket. But here was the proof. The heart of the operation. Controls labeled with emotions. Happy, or sad, or content. Walking, eating, working, all of it monitored and commanded from this very place. And as the cold reality of his past began to sink in, Stanley decided that this machinery would never again exert its terrible power over another human life. For he and the bucket would dismantle the controls for good.
Yeah.
Two best friends, Stanley and the bucket, up a...
You got this, Bucket.
Stanley and the bucket waited
I
in
think it's just the
blackness.
same ending, but we have Bucket.
Was it over?
Also, the video will be shorter than the first one because I have
Yes,
2 other videos
They
to
had
make.
done it. Stanley and the bucket had defeated their greatest and darkest enemy, freed themselves from the tyrannical grip of the evil mind control machine. Freedom was now mere moments away. Excitedly, the two of them began to discuss the kind of life they wanted to live once they stepped through this massive door. The bucket wanted to learn to roller skate. Stanley wanted to sneeze in every country on Earth. Both of them wanted to begin watching a movie, any movie, but then stop it halfway through and begin watching it in reverse from the end.
Huh.
True, it was a simple life they envisioned, but it was one they'd lived together, with one another to lean on, to trust, to support, and...
Wait, what?
What? Wait. What was happening?
It's not the same.
Why had the door stopped? Was Stanley and the bucket not about to be freed?
Wait, what?
Terrible silence filled the room, lingering in uncertainty, until finally the truth hit Stanley square in the face. This building did not want the bucket to leave. Even the facility itself recognized the incredible calming presence of the bucket.
No.
Needed the soothing warmth of the bucket. Would go to any lengths not to part with the bucket.
No.
No. Stanley can't leave this place. Not while he has such a precious bucket in his arms. Not while this building has anything to say about it. Stanley realized he would never again leave this very room. But at least he has the bucket.
Yeah.
To be trapped eternally in darkness isn't really so bad,
Yeah.
Stanley thought to himself. As long as I have my bucket with me, right? I'll be okay, won't I? Stanley gulped. Very soon now, he was about to find out.
Oh, God. Oh. Okay. Well, that's a dark ending. And then one more couldn't hurt. I'm gonna do one more.
Stanley
ending?
was alone. Finally.
Oh,
This
finally.
is great, he thought to himself. This is what I've wanted all along. I got what I wanted.
Where are we going today? The bucket asked.
I don't
Stanley just smiled. Anywhere they went together would be perfectly fine with him. Stanley clutched the
Agreed.
bucket tightly to his chest. This was not the correct way to the meeting room, but Stanley had felt the bucket calling to him, telling him that the employee lounge was simply the place to be.
Agreed.
And here it was.
Yeah.
Had the bucket turned out to be correct? Was this... No, never
The bucket
mind.
was always wrong.
The bucket was wrong.
Alright.
Stanley took the door on his left to go back to the meeting room.
No,
Said the bucket.
don't go to the meeting room. Go somewhere else. The cargo lift, yes. Go there. Go to the cargo lift.
I have to. I don't go. Can't go back up.
Okay, I'm going back to the name of these little Stanley figurines, and now I'm torn between Stanlerines and Figlies. What do you think, Stanley? What name better encapsulates the intrinsic sense of
Stanlerines.
happiness that you get from
Figlies.
seeing a small number in the
Figlies
corner of
or
your
easier,
screen
say
go
that.
up by one? Let me sit on it. I'm sure it will come to me.
I don't recall the name. It's here. Where am I? Huh? What's this? Oh, I'm scared.
Okay, this is day number 295. Tape number... I don't even know. I've lost track. Nothing feels real anymore.
Creepy.
The longer I study this bucket, the less sense anything makes. The sheer euphoria I feel every time I pick it up. No matter how many times I've done it, it's always the same feeling. And the emptiness in my chest when I set it down
Yeah.
doesn't
It's so
make
strong.
sense. There's no explanation for it.
Yeah, there is.
I still haven't figured out why I see the world so differently when this bucket is in my arms. Why everything feels so... What do I do with this treasure? I can monetize it. Yes. It's unthinkable the amounts of money people will pay for even just an hour with the bucket.
That's true.
is my golden ticket. But I have to be careful, because as soon as this gets out, there's going to be a target on my back. Even now, I don't know who might be trying to get me.
Oh no.
What's that?
Strange otherworldly noises? I could never. That was creepy. That's new.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? A good bucket, a strong bucket, a humble bucket. Stanley clutched the bucket.
That's
tightly
getting
to
weird
his
each
chest.
time.
This was not the correct way to the meeting
Okay.
room, but Stanley had felt the bucket calling to him.
Oh, yo, yeah,
telling
we
him
got
that
the stickers.
employee lounge
I just
was
realized
simply
that.
the place to be. And here it was. Had the bucket turned out to be correct? No, never mind. The bucket was wrong.
Okay, one more ending,
Stanley took
then
the door
I
on
need
his
to
way
start
to
recording
go back to the meeting room.
2 other videos. Yay!
Don't go to the
I
meeting
don't
room.
wanna do
Go
that.
somewhere else. The cargo lift, yes. Good.
Said the bucket.
Dun, dun,
Now ride the lift all the way to the top.
Dun,
There's
dun,
something up there I need you to do.
Stanley did not question why or how this bucket was speaking to him. It should have alarmed him, of course, because buckets can't talk. But Stanley chose not to think about this obvious fact. He was firmly convinced that the bucket had spoken to him, and he unthinkingly did whatever the bucket asked.
Yeah.
In here.
Said the bucket.
Go into this dark room over here.
Stanley once again
Not-
obeyed
it's not a
blindly.
dark room though. Oh, that one.
Now pick up the phone.
Bet.
This is the sad story of a man named Stanley and his bucket. Once upon a time, I gave Stanley a bucket because I thought he was lonely and could use a friend. And then, very distressingly, he began to believe the bucket could speak to him.
Ah, yes.
The Stanley Parable Reassurance Bucket was merely meant to provide the comforting glow of companionship. It doesn't literally talk and give
Yeah.
orders. Whatever Stanley is hearing the bucket say to him is just in his head.
Take me back home with you.
Lately,
Yeah.
I've been concerned about him. Wouldn't you be concerned as well? To see him delusional like this, obsessing over an inanimate metal object? I want to say something to him, but I don't know how I can convince him. I don't know if he'll listen to me.
Jazz music's the best, not gonna lie.
Well, I'll try anyway. Stanley, can you hear me? Listen to me. It's just a bucket. It can't think, it can't talk. All it will ever truly do for you is effectively transfer a liquid from one location to a different location. That's it. It doesn't do anything else.
Makes me feel nice. Don't still allow my press G to go back home.
You see, he's not listening. He's still taking orders from the bucket. You know, once upon a time it was me he took orders from. Me he trusted and listened to. Now all he cares about is this awful bucket. This stupid hunk of metal.
Man's getting a little bit jealous. Bet. Okay.
It's sad. I suppose he doesn't need me anymore. From now on, he's just going to cling to this bucket, this cold, empty bucket, this sort of shiny bucket. Well, I'll give it this.
Oh, wow,
The bucket
shiny.
does have a nice shine to it.
It does. Ooh. You believe I'm real, or don't you, Stanley?
Yes, I suppose on
Yeah, I
closer
do. I
inspection,
kinda do believe you're
that
real.
it doesn't
Not
quite
gonna
look
lie.
like your average hardware store bucket.
Yeah.
It's just a little more, what am I trying to say? Sturdier, more capable of transporting liquid. Like it would be better at moving an amount of water from one room to another. Oh my God, what am I saying? Better at carrying water from room to room. It's a bucket. It's literally just a bucket. Why do I
Nah,
feel
it's
some
not
need
just
to
a
point out the
bucket.
ways in which it's so much more than just a regular bucket?
But
Oh no. I'm having feelings for the bucket.
hey, yo.
No, what's going on? Why do I want to be with the bucket? Hear what the bucket has to say. Do anything it asks. What's wrong with me? I don't understand.
Bro.
Perhaps if I had the bucket, this would be less confusing. Yes. The bucket could tell me what to do in this troublesome situation. Stanley, give me the bucket.
No!
Give me the bucket, Stanley. I need
but
it.
get
Give it to
you.
me now. Give it or I'll...
Okay. Stretch. Hey. Yeah. Alright, well, that's it for today for the Stanley Parable 2. We'll make one more video about this game that should cover the rest of it. Hope you all enjoy this as much as I enjoyed making it. Still again working on exits. Anyway, hope you all have a great day, great evening, just great. Hope you all do great. And see you in the next one. Bye.